Artie thinks he's gonna win the game. How adorable. Oh, look at you, you cute little Donster. I got bad news for you. I've got to be a freak. The kind of freak that spends over 10 hours casting, and then when someone asks him to spend a lot longer casting with a long game, he says, sure, why not? As we hop into some good old Artista, we got Donati versus Avali. Yes, don't be confused. Your lever is Avali. In fact, if you just look at his name and then read it backwards. You reading it backwards right now? There you go. We revealed his identity. The most brilliantly hidden Smurf in the history of Smurfdom, but we exposed him. I'll see what he's going to expose us to in this one, because I've been guaranteed an epic show of unrivaled proportions between the Donster and the Avalista. Let's get away. I guess it'd be the Artista and the Avalista. There you go, Artista and Avalista. I don't know why. Well, I know why I started calling him an Artista, because Avali, like, you know, Avali, we'll get onto him in a sec, but the reason we call Artie the Artista is because it's like watching someone paint a picture the way this guy plays sometimes. But not like realism painting, not like, you know, a portrait type painting, more like Van Gogh. You know what I mean? It might look a bit messy, but the meaning behind it is so deep and inspiring. And that's what I love about, like, Artie. He isn't your cleanest player. He's not going to be your methodical beastie, for example. But the pure anarchy with which this man plays the games, the pure anarchy we just saw him recently in the Road to Red Bull Warlord play with anarchy against Wham, is a perfect example. It's not about how clean you play. It's about how messy you can make your opponent. That's why I love watching him. Now, the Avalista on the other side, Avali's kind of had a hard time of it. He hasn't been able to find the route to big success in Age of Empires so far. But I hold out hope. You know, this guy, admittedly, I'm not sure about his future in Mega Random simply because he trusts the wrong people. I've seen him believe in Core way too many times and get betrayed by it for it to work out. And right now, I'm pretty sure his score in... Oh, God. Why am I going to do this to him right now? I'm pretty sure his score in Outback Octagon, if I'm not mistaken... yep, he's in the bottom third. Okay, maybe just outside the bottom third. It's not looking good, though. And he needs to learn who he can trust. But you know who you can always trust in? Yourself. Anime Power. Power up. Show me that you can beat Donati. Donati, who just this weekend past was able to best a top 8 player in Age of Empires 4. This is we go by Golden League standards. Avali, early on. What are your scouts doing, mate? Oh. Oh. Oh, something big was happening while we were introducing the players. Well, the problem with this, RT, is you maybe jumped the gun slightly on building the second one because you don't have arrow slits yet because you don't have a tech up yet. So this outpost isn't happening. The first one is good. The second one's a pipe dream, so we'll cancel it now. What a move out of this little rat, though. This snaky little bugger, and he moves in deeper as well. Wow, this is big, actually. This is frustrating for Avali because usually what you do is you set yourself up, you prime yourself up for an Imperial Academy, and then you inflate the mill goal to tax your way up further into the game. This outpost is going to block that option away early. Also, keep in mind, Avali already slaughtered some of the sheep underneath this, and it also means that he's going to have to move them elsewhere, build a second mill, and usually you want double value out of that mill. Because of the aforementioned Imperial Academy, you want to keep as much tax crew in there as possible, which means you want double food source. You want your sheep plus something else. Where's the something else? This is it. The deer is beyond this outpost, and then the other deer and the berries are far out in no man's land. Oh, no, no, no. So what does he do? He reacts to an outpost of his own. He says, get the hell off my land. And that'll save him for the moment. But keep in mind that when Avali is done with the sheepies, he'll have to actually take care of the outpost. Otherwise, the gatherers on the berry bushes are going to die. And Artie says, if at first you don't succeed, screw it. The government pays my tuition anyway. Go again. Oh, wait, that's my country. He's Dutch. I don't know how it works over there. If at first you don't succeed, get baked and go again. There we go. That fits better. But Avali, he said, no, you don't. Torches out. Goes loud and proud with the burn damage. It looks like he's going to construct, but it's not going to be healthy here. Instead, he's going to turn around the shift now. But this is very late with the shifts. A weird choice here. Avali, he could have got that low on burning status straight away. Instead, he allowed him to build it up. And now he's going to lose probably 2 more villages than he would have otherwise. I don't know about this one, dog. I think you had the right idea at first. If you want to go shears out, you have to do it straight away. You can't wait like this. And now the villagers pull out to try and repair. One's going to be brought down. With it still torched, it's going to be hard to garrison inside. Don Artie, get back in. He's just trusting the scout. I wouldn't trust the scout here. Optimal on the villagers just before they go down. And that's going to maximize the damage output. I actually think this works out as a good play for Artie. I think he's getting a better trade. The additional auto time as well as the amount of villagers going down. Look at the count right now. Avali is at 16 eco units compared to Artie up at 20. Now, of course, he's about to lose 2. But it's still going to have him ahead as a result. Now, the question mark you then have to ask is, like, you invested 2 outposts. Is it worth? Yes. Yes. The answer is yes. Your opponent built 1 outpost. He also idled additional eco compared to you. Number-wise, Artie should be clearly ahead now. Oh, man. I was promised an epic game, but they said it was a long one as well. So I was like, we're going to have to wait. For those that wonder, I don't know who wins this. Like, I always make sure I don't look at that detail. I don't know. Like, I try to make sure I don't look at how long it is or whatever. I was just warned beforehand. Like, hype game, but very long one. I think the words Avali uses might want to fast forward for a bit. What are you on about, man? This is entertainment so far. Why would I fast forward through this magnificence? Tech up. About to complete. Delayed Artie for quite a while, actually pulling the villagers like that and building the outpost, but will eventually make his way up ahead of Avali, who is going to go for the Barbican. He doesn't want more outposts crawling around for good damn reason, and they outposts anyway. Oh, Artie. Oh, I love this guy. Looks like he's going to accept that isn't happening, though. But he'll be happy in the fact that he just forced 15 villages from Avali to build this up. And you take that. Okay, I didn't get my outpost, but what about all the eco you're missing out on because you pulled over half of your villages to build that up? Oh, he's had enough. He's actually moving in to burn this down now. No textiles either. The fortified should be probably cancelled, Artie. Actually, don't worry. Avali's going to cancel it for you. It'd be a bad investment anyway. He's building more. Now, I don't know how late this game was played. It kind of has that feeling of Artie's like, I just want to go to bed. And it looks like he's getting that outpost up as well. Horsemen start to come out. The scouts can't do anything about these 2 villages. And Artie is non-stop with this. Avali is now 5 eco units behind. Artie, he's going to accrue enough stone at this rate to go for a second TC casually. No, outpost will give him a stabilization point. But he doesn't have the ability to build rams right now. Not with a choice to go horseman. He's looking for exposed eco. The eco is still pretty condensed. More outposts go. Oh my god. I think this is the perfect game. Like, I'm not sure how this is going to proceed, but based on the almost 9 minutes of gameplay so far, if Relic want good ratings, and they had one of those rate your experience moments after random games, this would be the worst game to give it to Avali after. How did you enjoy your Age of Empires 4 experience? And all you get in the comment section is what clearly looks like someone beat the crap out of their keyboard. Scout. Can't get out of that. No military units yet, because Avali is a Chinese player, and they like to be greedy. Because you want your TCs and your tech ups. Interesting choice here by Avali. He's rushing castle. No secondary TC. No secondary feudal. Just straight up castle. Now, in fairness, getting into a clock tower would allow him to build a trebuchet, and one trebuchet could deal with all this. But I feel like you could maybe hold against this aggression and get a second TC instead. That being said, there's nothing to say he can't go for a second TC. I mean, the resources required for Castle Age and the resources required for... Ah, there we go. Get both. Just be greedy. Pull back of the villagers. Raid around the backside is going to be frustrating. And, oh, God, Avali. You tax, get to tax right now. In fact, has Avali only got one? Oh, he's only got one Imperial official still. I don't blame him. It's a little bit hard to build up your Imperial official line in this situation. Like, what would he be working on right now? Most things are blocked out. But now that you've got a wood line up, it might be worth sticking one there. Definitely at least do tax, though. I would definitely recommend tax. Okay. Yeah, but drop off the tax. Why do I feel like this story is going to end with a mugging? Artie, how are we looking back at base in the meantime? Well, he reinvested all the stone, because why build up when you could just make sure your opponents can't? Sounds better to me. And because all the pressure's onto Avali's base, Artie's just going to be able to move out from berry patch to berry patch, not being slowed down. However, Avali's done being slowed down. Tech up available. Castle Age on the way. The Horseman, uh-oh. And there's not enough room for all of them here. Looks like he's not willing to commit, though. The gunshot's a little bit too strong in this. Astronomical clock tower, so we are going to get into the trebuchet as expected. We have to start thinking clearly about the wing conditions for these two civs. I'm not going to try to guess what Artie's wing condition was here. I said he's chaotic for a reason. Avali's in this matchup should be Imperial, though. I don't think you want to play long castle. And long feudal just isn't an option you want to engage with, not with the amount of outposts that are blocking you right now. So he wants to find a way to probably TC boom up 2 or 3 and then play hyper late game. The Abbasis can be annoying in their own rights, but I think compared to the Chinese, it just doesn't match up well. Especially with gunpowder units still being the way they are right now. At least until the pop changes our world for the better. And the worst of Chinese spammers. Speaking of Chinese spammers, not looking good right now for Avali. He's almost 10 eco behind Artie. Oh, buddy. Oof. It's going to be a splitting headache right now. And he wants more wood because he needs more wood. He needs additional infrastructure to counter this out. Not going to get it, though. Artie. Oh, my God. He even built archery ranges. There is something deeply right about Artie, and I love it. The pressure never needs to let up, he says. He'll just continue the way he began. Although he's not going to look to TC boom up, it's starting to wiggle its way into the realm of possibilities. You can see he's starting to stockpile stone again. Has stopped for the moment. I genuinely would love to see double TC here, casually cruised into. I don't think you lose too much aggression to do so. And you're just going to inflate yourself to a point that you can keep up even when you're an age behind. Right now, though, Artie has 0 food. That may need to be resolved fast, as that is slowing down your timing slightly. So a mismanagement slightly will put him behind somewhat on what his timings clearly were. Especially when he goes to the Rams like this. It's kind of awkward, actually. Being at 0 food, like not even 1. 0 food, and you chose to put into Rams. This was not the plan. So if you could just... I would even quick drop off at this point to produce villagers. Oh God. Well, in fairness, he's 10 villagers ahead, folks. Let's be real here. I think he can afford a small gapsy-wapsy in his eco-wiki. Is eco-iki? Eco-wiko? I don't know what I was going for there. Oh, we can see what Artie's going for. The continued outright everlasting aggression that just slowly grinds Avali down into nothingness as he turns from human into husk and then powder form. Yeah. You can tell that I've seen a lot of these type of maneuvers before, and they do feel that way. It is a cut my life into pieces type moment, especially with when a thin wood line allows your opponent to do this with an outpost. Artie, come on. Avali, he needs to trade. The only thing he's getting right now is food. For the moment, he can barely get anything. He's like walking a thin line in life. Artie's just the Artie's just a prison guard telling me he has to follow the lines. If you step out of the lines, you will be shot. It's so tough. Oh, God. I really actually do feel for him right now. Or do I? He did pick China. I semi-feel for him. You don't really expect this out of the Abbasids anymore. This, by the way, is what I was saying about the anarchy, the archaic nature of Artie, and how it could be very, very fun to watch in the coming weeks. And he could even be able to shot and make it to in the road to Rololo, because he's very unpredictable. You know, it's still going to be stepped up in comparison to players like Beastie and Marine Lord. I think just like they play on a whole other level that they can very easily adjust to this. But you have to remember that we only have 4 people qualified so far, 12 more still to qualify for Wololo Legacy. And a few of those slots are likely to be taken up by people who play very off-meta and very wild Age of Empires. And Artie, if nothing else, is exactly those things. I love how this one Lancer isn't even choosing to kill like 3 archers right now. He's very committed to the ram that he's never killing. How does Avali survive this? Well, he's retreating north side. This would be a good time to get an extension TC. And he's almost got the resources required. Gathering a little bit more wood, a little bit more stone. I think you just need to TC boom up. In fairness, though, Artie has lost the lead. Oh my God, the one Lancer! Wait. No, no way! We were so distracted by the ram rush, and so was Artie. Avali attacked him on the flank, and I wish a unit had its kill count right now. I feel like this damn warrior right here done it all himself, but he's about to get some assistance. No, Artie! He was playing pocket ecos. He went full greed, and now he's going to be punished here. Artie's not even pulling back yet. He'll finally realize it. But there is not enough room to protect all these villages. And that's once again idle eco. Artie at least put up a surplus reserve of 300. Kind of feels like he's in that state right now. Needs to scream, "This is Spartan." Hope each warrior is worth his weight. The Rams are starting to stack up, though. Artie did take a heavy hit to the wood line. In fact, the wood line, where is the wood line right now? It doesn't exist. Artie instead is moving in. He's full all in. He's like, this will be our base now. We just need to clear out some rebel scum in the area. A nice recovery there. Avali with the Imperial Academy on the backside just in time. As attention is drawn to his primary TC. Does need a secondary. Avali, interestingly enough, is not on the stone, though. Artie thinks he's gonna win the game. How adorable. Oh, look at you, you cute little Donster. I got bad news for you. The princess is in another castle. This one. You can see the delay. He's like, wait, what? Go deeper, deeper, deeper. I don't understand how this game is meant to be a long game. This should surely be over one way or the other soon. Villagers rush in. Counter villager battalion on their way. And so many are going to die to this keep. He doesn't even need to target the rams, just repair. He's going to go for it anyway. What are they doing right now? He's going for the Imperial Academy. The rams won't make it. Oh no, Artie, you have to deal with the keep. You can't do this. Not with the Palace Guard coming out as well. Tries to prioritize the Imperial Academy down. Avali, his eco down to 23 and 19 on Artie's side. Shiv's out, boys. Get him. In fact, just pull away. Survive. He can't kill the Imperial Academy with this many villages. Oh my God. Are they both about to be a one villager boy? I think they're about to be a one villager boy. Artie, like, he has 5 more villages. Where are they? Actually, where are they right now? They're idle somewhere. All right. He's like, wait, yeah, this ain't working. I don't know about you, dog, but this ain't it. He's just trying to get away. 10 eco on one side, 13 on the other. And he's got some stuck in a tower. Which tower is it, though? Wait, did he never... There, yeah, he never pulled them out. He never pulled them out. Okay, so there you go. Artie stays alive. The fact that he never pulled these villagers out is actually saving grace in this game. Folks, the crazy part about this is that Artie didn't need to rush end like that. I think he could have just built a TC in this area and made it his home. Because then Avali's super far behind. Like, he doesn't know what we know, which is Avali's not in the stone. But if you just send a scout around and you see that he hasn't harvested any stone, you know you can't go TC. And that means that Avali's stuck on like 20 eco. And you just boom past him. But now we've reset to 0. Oh my god, what is this game? And Avali now just roaming around. He's like, I will counter-snipe your Oh, you've got no eco left. Okay. So I think this was the warning I got that there might be moments you want to 2 times. And I'm wondering if we might want to soon, because I've got a feeling that this like aggression is going to slow down soon. And the rebuild is going to take quite a while, as they're both around 10 eco. Now, the good news for Artie is that he can rebuild quicker than Avali, because not only does he have his TC, sorry, too soon Avali, but also his units only cost 25 food compared to 50. So he doesn't need additional surplus, where Avali does. Avali, ooh, Lancer is going to survive. Did he get 2 villages there as well? Ouch. It was like last arch as we ran away. Like, what is this game right now? Oh, God. Yes, I always wondered what Age of Empires 4 hard mode looked like. Thank you, boys. For he has 3 landmarks in Ruin. Donati has no eco. Oh, boy. All right, I think we're going to speed this up now. I was warned about this. This will be the time to do it. So there's the Stone Gathering. Avali now can go for the new TC. We'll build up. Small raids coming in. But damage starting to be offset as new villages are coming out. And you see folks around those pocket ecos with Spearmen to defend. No attempt to reclaim the old base because Avali can't go there yet. Avali does have enough to recover here. He's got the berry patch and the deer. Remember when we talked about earlier how awkward it is because Avali can't play out into this eco because it's dangerous? Doesn't matter when you're this deep in the game and it's all that remains of your base. Now it's safe. And he goes straight into the monastery. Because remember, folks, I know it's hard to believe. It's hard to remember, but Avali, he teched up. Artie never did. So Avali looking like he could very easily get his hands on 5 relics if he weaves the path out from his new base. Oh my god, this game. Camel Archer on the front. Oh, he catches him in the Monk transition. He caught him trying to reach in the cookie jar here. That Camel Archer is going to do a lot of damage. It's not easy to answer. Lancers are finally on their way back, but you never reach him. Oh god, this is actually so much better to watch in 4 times speed. Benny Hill's mode activates. So Artie is being an absolute pain in the bollocks, because pain in the arse doesn't quite fully encompass what he's done here. And Avali now can't access his reserve wood line. He'll get some of this, but eventually it's going to be scouted, and then he'll be attacked by the Arrow Slit Tower. And that's why he gets in the Siege Workshop, because Avali needs to get 1 Trebuchet out and reclaim his old base. Oh, are we back to this? No, the Lancers don't want to fight right now. The funny part, actually, is if Avali gets 1 Monk, he can heal these up, and he gets insane value out of the Lancers at this stage of the game. Instead, full health Lancer will just dive in. Oh, no room for you. Wow, wow, wow. So Artie now economically behind on the villager count still. Struggling to catch up. Although his villagers are cheaper, he had less at the beginning of this rebuild. And because you're up against Song Dynasty, you know you're going to get outscaled here. As long as Avali can afford it. That's his issue right now. Berries are running out fast. That's why he moves out into the deer. Trebs starting to reclaim the old base. And with that, you can really start to escalate this. And it's why Artie's already ahead of the curve. Builds the second TC. It looks like he is going to be fine as well. Oh my god, this really is just a full rebuild. Okay, the only way they can best this is if they find another opportunity to almost kill each other and then reset again. I don't think we're going to have that though. But this will be a slow rebuild. And folks, I normally wouldn't speed up, but I can see what they mean. Like, it is relevant right now. The raids, every time they come in, we can at least slow down as the Camel Archer is going to stop the wall in. We target out a few villages and, wait, wrong place, dog, wrong time. That's going to be a lot of dead villages, even with textiles. He doesn't have anything to answer the Camel Archers, and he only just realized. Well, he'll at least look to garrison them in. But several of them are already dead, sir. And all of a sudden, Avali is now trailing by 10 eco units. Tries to bank the relic at least to even it up. And, oh, another TC. My, oh my. Avali. He really is making this corner his new home. If he can move out and rebuild the TC, which he in theory can. The only reason he's not doing it right now, by the way, is because he can't afford gaps in his eco. He's very small eco right now. So much so that he can't even answer the Camel Archers. Now, one play that Avali could do is one Springald to just push his opponent away. It's not going to, like, insta-kill the Camel Archers, but it will scare them over the hills and far, far away. I don't even know what this villager thought he was doing. He ain't doing it anymore. Ooh, heal's not quick enough. So arrow fire from TC will at least be able to strike down one of the Camel Archers, and Lancers should keep him at bay. With that opportunity now arising, Avali will look to move out and make sure these raids don't happen again, because if they happen anymore, he's basically done. Trebs, in the meantime, have reclaimed the old base. But now 3 TCs coming out from Artie, so we'll keep that eco lead, at least for the moment. Avali, if he can get his original TC up, he is going to boom out of control. As long as he can maintain the food demand of 3 TCs with reduced production times. Avali will look to back up and move away. Spearman will try to chase in. Lancers are going to try to react. If he can reach the keep, he should be safe, but this is going to be tight. Uh-oh. Well, that's bye-bye Trebuchet. Did he at least get value, though? Well, the Trebuchet, we have to remember, it costs 750, right? That's pretty high. And you killed multiple outposts with Varuslet's upgrades. I'm inclined to say that this was slightly not worth, but the territorial regain does make it worth for Avali. He does still need to rebuild that TC. Oh my god, he's got another TC at the back. Anything to avoid the long rebuild of your landmark, huh? He really just doesn't want to do it. Tech up complete. Wrap around the Lancers, just trying to block out any pocket ecos. Keep goes up. Proxy base again. Artie once again at it. Now, has he gone into the mosque? This could be big, actually. You're looking to pick up the relics here because you have 3 that you have clear dominant control over. And that would block out a recovery point for Avali. Oh my god, this game. For those just joining us, because I'm sure some new people come through like, what the hell's happened this game? This isn't a... Like, how's this a 34-minute game? Well, I wouldn't really call it a 34-minute game. I think of it more as a 16, 17-minute game. And then another 17, 18-minute game. Yeah, I think that's the better way to look at it. I guess this is what it looks like when you don't reset map for your best of 3 series. When the first best of 3 ends in a draw, so you just don't leave the map, right? That's kind of where we're at. Wall's going up now from Avali. He's like, this is my corner, and I will not relinquish it. I've already relinquished every other part of the bloody map right now. Lancers once again are going to raid in. Artie, uh-oh. Unlikely to react straight away. Should lose 1 or 2 villages before he realizes what's happening here. We'll pull him back now. Textile's able to minimize the casualties here. And Artie still ahead for the moment, but Avali fast catching up. It's 3 TC versus 3 TC, but one side has Song Dynasty, so their production rates are a lot faster here. I like what he's doing here, actually. This is really good from Artie. So he can see that Avali is going to be the rat in the corner that never dies. So you just now need to starve him out. If you can take out the finite resources he has, then he's not going to be able to play the late game. Wood is going to be a big demanding point for Avali, as he needs siege, he needs additional infrastructure, he needs to set up the farms as well. That's a lot of wood. The problem that Artie has is this one wood line alone won't be enough. He needs to find a way to shrink this one. Right now, Avali trying to get ahead of the curve to make sure he's not blocked out, moves out. 22 villages out into no man's land because he has no reason to fear Artie on the right side. Artie has consolidated his forces on the west because he now has to deal with stone walls. And that's pretty cool from Avali, actually. This is a cool tip to take. Like, if your opponent can't afford to be spread, if he's looking for, like, a strong breach to access your eco, if you wall up the side and his trebs aren't in that area, it's very unlikely he's going to raid this area or even check it. And that's what Avali's playing off the back of. He won't do it without any reassurances, though. You can see he does drop the keep as well. But this area is now controlled, and it's really important for him because it's both gold and food for the next coming minutes. Trebs going to be built up. Avali's trying to get rid of the keep crawl from Artie. Artie's stuck with 20 villages locked in, not really doing too much right now. Stone will rebuild. And should be rebuilt quick enough that Trebs can't get rid of it instantly. Avali is sitting on a sizable quantity of stone reserves, so he will be able to keep this up for a while. Even trying to rebuild the gates. Interesting choice here. Nice target there by Artie. Actually goes off the infrastructure instead. Those siege workshops aren't cheap. 300 wood per. And they're the thing building up the counter to you right now. They're the ones that are getting the Springwalls into the field. And more trebuchets as well. Those Springwalls are going to look to target out the villages through the opening of the gate. That's the reason why Avali rebuilt the gate, by the way. He wants to be able to shoot out. Instead, he goes after the Treb. Treb that is benefiting from medical centers, but medical centers will not be good enough. Easy pickings there. The Springwalls will be able to back away before the Camel Archers can punish it. Woodline in full swing now for Artie. It's kind of crazy how long it's going to be before Artie even checks flank here. I think by the time he looks, Avali is going to be fully recovered. And that's a problem, folks. Because if they both get recovered, they both look late game on equal footing, you are still up against the Chinese. Now, the upside that Artie does have is he controls the majority of the map still. You know, Avali's slivered out and taken a small extra chunk, but realistically, you're talking about, I'd say, a 4/6 going the way of Artie. Actually, I'd say 5/7. Yeah, I'm getting awkward with my fractions. But it does feel that way, right? Like, you need that kind of awkward figure because it's not a quarter, but it's definitely not 2/3. It's definitely not like a third going your way, right? It's kind of that awkward spot in between. Keep going down will be awkward for Avali, but he has built up a lot of Palace Guard now. All-time bought here. And has to be said that Artie didn't really invest in a front line. In fact, his front line were these keeps. That was it. He has a small contingent of Camel Archers, but that will not do here. Springwalls starting to march out. Palace Guard will look to clash. Camel Archers get baited into chasing after Springwalls. The Springwalls, in the meantime, just looking to trade out on villages and on trebuchets. There's Palace Guard. They're going to breach through here. Artie, the repair crew, cannot last forever here. Not with a double trebuchet wailing away at the keep. And the Palace Guard wailing away at the repair force. Looks like he's going to actually go back to the drawing board because he's going to need to push new units. I don't think Camel Archers alone are going to cut it here. He's pulling more villages to try and keep the keep up. I've got to stop saying that because it's a dumb sentence. Keep the castle up. Walls are going to crumble. The problem I have here is, like, you don't have a force that can now dive. It's kind of awkward for Artie because he's playing a very slow style. He can't now rush in and dish out maximum punishment for everything condensed here from Avali. He has to take his time. He has to carve through it step by step. And that means that Avali gets multiple opportunities to rebuttal, to build a counter and try to stop this. Springwalls are going to march out. Sure, going to be targeted, but problem is this keep fire does add up quite fast. Trebs still not able to target each other out. It's quite cumbersome, actually, because Artie wants to take out the infrastructure, and Avali can't target the Trebs because of the inconsistency. If he doesn't hit, the time it takes to reload and shoot again, most of the damage is going to be repaired by medical centers. It's kind of easy to forget, but although it's called medical centers, it does affect Siege as well. Turns out Siege have souls as well. I guess we're just the machine spirit from Dawn of War now. Good old Warhammer. Nice snipe there in the meantime. I believe that is the Springald emplacement, so Keep is able to hold its own against these dice from the Springalds. Avali continue to crawl out and claw back some map control here. And this is an important detail. Look what's now being played for. Artie's going in towards the sacred sites, but remember, Avali now blocks one. He built a keep over here. Out of position, so Artie, like, he's going to have a hard choice. If he wants to go for sacred site control, he's going to have to forfeit back control of Avali's base across to the original owner. That's the type of reboom you don't want to allow. The space is the issue right now for Avali. He wants that area to expand into. See that wood is becoming a problem for Avali as he's almost depleted the back line and is already munching away at the eastern one. But Artie did let up on his assault upon the wood reserve to the south of Avali's base. Well, Avali's new base. Don't know if it's going to be his for long if this continues though. Artie looking to build more keeps. Will cancel it though with a march out from Pascal. Pascal that cannot easily dive here. The hot boiling oil will make sure of that, as he learns it the hard way. Actually just committing here. Hard with the torches on the trebuchets, onto any siege he can find. We had to snipe several of them out. Pascal tanky enough to keep on diving through. Artie just trying to re-establish control in this area via multiple keeps. But the price is going to be high. The price of admission to stay here anyway. Both sides. As this dive, the damage is starting to stack up, but the kills on the trebuchets could be worth it. The problem is the repair crew is stopping him from getting additional targets here. Pascal are going to be cleaned up. Avali a little bit too ambitious. Did buy some time to heavy hit into the keep. It hasn't been enough to finish it off, and the repair crew might be able to offset the siege now. So in the meantime, now trying to force the counterweight trebs away. And yeah, I don't think you're going to get through this keep. Folks, I think we're going to be here a while. If anything, that keep is now gaining health, which is a problem. Because I know what Artie wants to do after that keep. Anyone want to take a guess what Artie wants to do after that keep? I'll give you a clue. It rhymes with yielding deep. Don't make it too obvious. Well, the blueprint will make it even more obvious. He wants to be in. There we go. Another one going up. Trebs, if they're fast here, maybe. Ooh. Oh, not good enough. And the reload time's going to be too long. So new keep up. Artie has enough villagers committed to this. That is going to commit Avali to a deeper retreat point as he slowly loses control of his own base again. Meanwhile, Wood still bountiful plenty. Oh, no, he's discovered him. Uh-oh. So what do you do if you're Artie? Can you afford to take troops away from the front line to deal with this now? Or do you just have to accept this as the reality? That your opponent has vast quantities of gold reserves and you're not getting through them anytime soon. And we can see Avali has vast quantities. Look at the number right now. It's 3.2k gold. He's trying to build up the outpost, but a lot of villagers lost casually here and a lot of gold still being gained. By the time you get defenses up that are good enough to get through the eco line, I think Avali's more or less expended this gold vein. There's maybe 1,000 left. And folks, this isn't just an 8,000 gold vein. You have to add 20% on. This is almost a 10k gold vein, courtesy of the Imperial official that has been sitting here supervising this entire time. And it will be a 10,000 gold vein when they retreat from here, because he can just yoink the taxes out and run away. This is so dumb to watch. I like how we've gone from anarchy, chaos, everything on fire to very methodical, slow crawling from Artie. If you can't beat him one way, try the other, right? Very line. Well, they definitely got their value here. There's barely anything left in this area for Artie. And Artie has already begun the transition to farms. We have to remember that Avali had already done that as well, so neither of them really suffering on the food department now. The keep. 4 trebs. He's done it. That's one down. Avali. He's had enough of this. Oh. If you can't get him with Springalds, get him with Trebuchets. Touche, Mr. Trebuchet. Now down to 3 again. He's going to need a 4th to make this fast enough. Otherwise, it's going to take 1,000,001 years. But it's like villagers are peeling back. And Artie, he's running out of resources, so he needs to get it elsewhere. eco lines are definitely getting inefficient at this stage. And some people struggling to recognize this map. I do find it's very hard to keep track of what the map is when one of the opponents isn't in the starting location anymore. This is Lipany. He was meant to be here. And then you would have had a stealth forest between you, and it would have made more sense. But this isn't the way that Avali and Artie play games. No, 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 no. Sensical, that's not a long enough word. Nonsensical. Now that sounds better. Trebs. Target onto the keep, starting to reclaim his base. He's still a mile out from actually having the reclamation effort pay off, but like he's getting there. And the important thing is because Artie invested heavily in this as well, it's not like you can go, oh yeah, but you know, he's spent a lot on trying to get his base back. Yeah, you spent a lot on trying to hold him out of his base. It's fair to say that they have both suffered equally in this game. Although I have to highlight that Avali has a ridiculous quantity of gold in reserve. And that might come into the picture in the following minutes because Imperial looks very feasible for Avali without sacrificing his own aggression at this stage of the game. Trebs finally recognizing the keeps need to be dealt with, but not before the Trebs are going to be dealt with. Villagers pulled across. Torch damage coming out. An Imperial official was even involved in that pull. One will be brought down. Second one targeted, but the repair crew is going to be there to keep it alive. This wall... What is this wall? I don't understand this wall. Oh, is he going to wall across to keep the gold for himself? That could be a pretty big deal. Scattering on the stone as well. Trebs is slowly getting through the keeps, but he's getting paid back for it. This is one of those money-back guarantee situations. Build a keep and get a 50% cashback guarantee. Only with the Chinese Banking Association. Speaking of the Chinese bank, he's about to crack 10k gold. I think Avali doesn't need gold anytime soon. And he hasn't left much in this area for Artie. Well, he wouldn't have left much in this area for Artie once he's done with this gold line. The funny part, by the way, folks, is that is a single tree. That's not a tree line. So once Avali's done here, he'll just run out. He'll be fine. Stonewall's going up. And speaking of coming out, Avali is running out into the midfield now. Nesta Bees, Trebuchets, Springles, and a lot of Palace Guard. Oh my. Well, Artie, how we look on the military account, he overboomed now, down to 42 military. He might want to fix this. The crazy part, and this is phenomenal, by the way, is that Avali has built up better reserves than Artie, despite the fact that there is a clear eco-leverage lead that Artie should have here. 158 eco units compared to 133. But that just ain't a reality. Not the power of the Imperial officials on those gold lines, not with the gold with the gathering rates, now with the granaries online. This is where Avali is just fully unleashed. In fact, he could just trade. Like, he could have had a marketplace getting trade every once in a while for the food to build up an Imperial. But he's just going to take his time. Make sure he has internal reserves available to him. Walls up. These walls are also going to give him additional wood lines. That wood line on the west side, that was never fully exploited by Artie. Instead, he built up farmlands in this area. Might be a problem. Artie still without the resources to go up. Avali still holding back for the time being. But now that he's reached pop cap, he can just gather food. He can make his way back up. He can also start to rebuild. You can see one villager working to rebuild the TC because he doesn't need new villagers, but he just wants these landmarks up so that he can't be sniped out of the game. Speaking of sniped, looks like Artie's back eco line has been spotted. The farmlands are no longer safe. Artie, I would suggest leaving and doing so very briefly. And you can just see Avali's like, I'm free! I'm free! 50 minutes of being stuck in your own base will do that to you. It's time to imprison Artie instead. Avali moving in. Could go for the keep. Decides it's maybe not worthwhile now that there's no stone here. But there is still gold. And that gold, well, that's Artie's mistake. Not gathering it en masse. Avali will, though. Like, how have you not got enough gold yet? This is ridiculous. Tech up underway. Oh, he's rebuilding the whole base back. And Artie in with a heavy count of villagers. He's going to try to snipe through the line here. Nesta beat. What? Artie, please. Please, Artie, please. What are these Nesta Bees doing? Answer, nothing. Literally nothing. He could have killed all the villagers there. Oh, wow. That's a big mistake. Because then the bees are still alive. Then the camel archers are not. There's a ripple effect to this, a knock-on effect. And now you can see Avali, he had to back up. He had to cancel the tech up. He's been blocked out. Instead, he's going to build it elsewhere. All these blueprints that he tapped once, he hasn't even cancelled them. So that's a minus 150 wood each time. Tech up is least complete. Spirit Way in a more defensive location. He's back to his corner. As soon as he breaks out, he returns there again. Avali, you know, we talked about the fact that he hasn't really been able to find his success in the competitive scene, making it to the top 8, making thousands and thousands of dollars yet. I think he's found his new calling as a Swiss banker, because this is getting ridiculous. This camel archer count is getting ridiculous as well. Artie caught up. They're both in Imperial now. I actually think Avali lost control of this game with that throwaway of the Nesta Bees. Those Nesta Bees that would have protected all of his siege. He would have been able to get rid of the villagers if he paid attention. And if he'd done that, I don't think that these camel archers do anything. I think they just die. But if buts and maybes, right? That's the nature of the game. Avali didn't pay attention. He didn't react straight away. His Nesta Bees were on a coffee break. And as a result, Artie puts him back in the corner. This time, he does so with a lot more power behind it as he's blocking him on the east side now. Avali hard into the villager pool, doesn't want to allow himself to be contained like this. And that keep expansion is still gaining. He is being brought down now by the trebuchets, but has to be said, like in terms of gold gains, I think this was 5.2k when he began. So he just essentially like alchemied up and then got better returns, right? He actually got more gold than he spent stone on this. Yeah, definitely. So if anyone's wondering why Avali is playing like these weird fights and why he doesn't just try and build up a big army and end and go next, it's because there's a possibility that Avali is lonely and he wants the company of Artie. And the reason he's comfortable to take the comfort this way is that he knows he can't be pushed out of the game. He has too much gold to be insta-killed off. It's very difficult for Artie to just insta-end this game. But now the Imperial Age has arrived on both sides, that's when it changes. Trebuchets you could hold back, Bombards less so, and this is where you're going to be forced to fight tooth and nail just to hold on. Shugenu, hello. Nesta Bees as well, moves out. Your boy be fast on the move out here. Just as the woodline thins up, he moves out. Camel Archers just trying to ride around, Lancers as well. They won't be able to get in here, and just a food Shugenu will put an end to this cavalry division. Uh-oh. That's a problem. Because that is an efficient transition there. These cost less. The Shugenu, you can see how cheap they are. 14 food, 21 wood, 21 gold each. Even the monks to make sure he stays alive. I mean, I know Avali's German, but I stand by that Swiss comment. He's crossed the border now. He's hard in the bank, and he still has 8k in reserve, and this force will obliterate Artie on the front line. He's going to have to back away fast. I wouldn't hold here. This is a bad hold. He hasn't got the cannon in placement, so he hasn't even got the AoE splash. And look at that. Avali rats his way onto the wall. The additional attack range now, as well as the reduced damage onto him, means it's going to be a bad trade, but there's a bad trade that Artie commits to. He goes straight onto the spring walls, and that's going to cost him most of the army, if not all of it. Nesta Bees still splashing him down. Shugenu count still at 25. Bombards and Culverins rolling in, but the problem is this one wall. This one piece of wall is stopping him from reaching them. It blocks his line of sight. And now he's in trouble. He needs to retreat. Frontline gone. We warned against this. This is a fight you didn't want to take. The crazy part, the ridiculous part about this is that Artie could have taken this fight easily if he targeted the wall. With the Trebs and the Bombard, if he took this out, the reduced damage isn't there for the Shugenu. The Nesta Bees can be targeted by the Culverin, and you're looking at a potential army wipe for Avali. Instead, the only army getting wiped here is Artie's. And that'll reset him. Villagers being massacred in the meantime, as it looks like Avali is running out of wood. The timing seems to be optimal here, as he can switch over to the west side if need be. Eco neck and neck, both of them on 103 villagers right now. Now Chicken Nu standing their ground. Small handful of horsemen, mainly just the Camel Archers to deal with. Camel Archers that take more or less pure damage here, but their health differential is too high. Hand Cannoneers, you're going to need them in vast quantities here, sir. Might benefit from a few Nesta Bees as well. So once again, Ali is going to recover, but gold is becoming worrisome for him right now. Hasn't switched over into trade yet. And that's a problem because gold reserves are drying up. The good news for Artie fans is he doesn't need it for what he's pushing here, mainly the Camel Archers. Food and wood. The siege is another thing, though. The siege is pricey. Chicken backing up, keep to protect them. Pull onto the villager line, but it seems like Avali doesn't care too much. He's like, that's fine, I'll just garrison up and I'll trade out your army. Chicken Nu did with the backstab. Run away, several Camel Archers are going to be brought down. Now Nesta Bees march down into the field. I pull the horsemen forward to try and get rid of the siege, and the Chicken Nu will just stand here and fight. This is the keep. This should be a wipe of Artie's army. But no gains for Avali. He doesn't have a strong enough force to push out. I say that, if he keeps the bombards alive, which he's doing right now. Okay, this could be a swing point. If he can get through the forward infrastructure, that's going to shrink the ability for Artie to reinforce. And he might be able to fully reclaim his old base. Finally. Finally, after almost an hour. It's been a long time coming. Like, right now, Avali's that kind of typical archetype story from a movie where, like, you know, small town, the kid leaves home, he doesn't look back. He comes back after 20 years after a relative dies, and he becomes king of that city. Because that's kind of what's happening here. As he's finally able to get Artie out of his base. It only took an hour. And I really mean an hour. If you think of actually when Artie started aggressing here, his first outpost came down at like 4 or 5 minutes in. So it has been more or less an hour. And I've got bad news, Artie. This army is in the wrong location. They didn't realize. Wait. Oh, wow. Yeah, because the outpost got taken out, so he probably didn't know about that wall entirely. Maybe he was hoping that he'd chip through the wood line. But you made sure he never could when you killed that many villagers on that wood line. And Avali finally moving out. Finally reclaiming what is rightfully his. He's home. Feels good to be home. Artie backing up in the meantime. Treb's just trying to snipe out some targets. We'll take out 1 or 2 Chicken Nu at a time, but very slow reload speed, so not exactly the most efficient way to take out units. If you're looking to do it fast, it's the safest way, though. Forward racks now into the Palace Guard. Palace Guard that still haven't been upgraded by Avali, but I think that's where this changes. Artie finally getting into the crew processing. Took him a long time here. Imperial Palace, this could be big. Rush in, onto the siege. Chicken Nu gonna stand their ground. Villagers are gonna pull back to look the garrison inside the keep. Keep that can be protected. Wrap around, horsemen getting on top of me here, but the Chicken Nu are gonna get reasonable trades out against this, despite the fact they should be countered. They really aren't. They counterfeit the horsemen. They're massacred and all dead. I don't think this is the right move, Artie. I think you need man-at-arms. This is not working anymore. It's ridiculous to watch, but these Chicken Nu are eviscerating the unit that is meant to counter them. It's not even close. Look how quickly they get shredded. Think about the damage output. 11 damage per shot, 3 bursts, that's 33 damage. You've got 3 armor, 3 ranged armor. Out of that 33 damage, you're negating 9. Good luck. You're gonna need it. Bombard kept alive. Nice repair coming out from Avali. Artie running out of wood. Wood is a problem. It's crazy as well because he's got plenty in reserve. It's just he's using it so fast. It's hard for him to keep up. Avali almost out of wood. His limitation comes from maybe not having enough wood lines running just yet, but he's looking to fix that. He still has reserves. And Chicken Nu, with the reductions coming out from the build around the Spirit Way, they don't cost much in that department. A ludicrously small quantity for what they're doing. And that's the crazy part to think about here. He's paying less than half? It's about half, right? Yeah. He's paying half the cost of a Horseman to counter it. One on one, I feel like this Chicken Nu could beat Horseman right now. Okay, maybe not quite. They might just about lose that fight. But it's going to be close, a lot closer than it has any right being. I like this actually out of Avali. So he picks up the Imperial Pass. Now he has the movement speed, which is going to be big for the Chicken Nu to reinforce in the front line faster. Also allows him to actually go for aggressive keeps super quick here. The villagers now being up at almost 1.5 movement speed. And then the cool thing is, look at the vision. Look at everything Avali sees. Folks, the power of the Imperial Palace is exactly this. It's not in the vision it gives you onto villagers. It's in the vision it gives you off of its structure itself. It sees everything. Artie. He can't look back. He can't give over any more ground. His whole eco line is back here, just behind him. Also will deny him the ability to get the Golden Age free. Golden Age free that he's still nowhere near. Look at this. And it's... Wait. No way. Okay, that is not optimal Abbasid base building right there. Say that 10 times. There's 11 structures here. I'd like you to look at the count right now and look how close he could be to having Golden Age if he daisy chained these in. Over here as well. Over here, like, he could easily have it with 1 or 2 houses just chaining this in. Missed opportunity, but that would be a big deal because he'd be able to push troops quicker. He'd also get better gathering rates. And he's going to need to push troops quicker because he's starting to lose more ground. The outpost. No, I'm sorry, Artie. I was behind this play at 10 minutes. But the digits have moved across now. You move the one over to the left, and you're too deep into the game for Outpost to save you now. Oy, and now the village is starting to get massacred. Avali's eco might be shrunk, but Artie's about to experience the same damn thing. And the Culverin's just AFK. There's so much sloppy play here. The amount of times I've seen both players not have Siege doing things is crazy. Because Siege has been a limiting factor for both sides. It's been where the demand has been, and it's been where it's hard to keep up with on the gold and on the wood. The Horseman pull, the Horseman pull. Into the choke point, Avali. Hold, hold, hold. Yes. This is smart. Do this, folks. Do what Avali is doing here. It's a melee unit. What's the weakness of melee units? They have to get on top of you, and he can't. Look at this. He has like 2 horsemen attacking at once. And it means that although Avali's going to lose the army, he makes sure the price for Artie is high in the process. This is how you utilize choke points. This is why, by the way, like, I ran a mega random fort, but I was talking about it in a previous game, and people, like, I know some comments say I don't quite understand it. If you're going for a wonder victory, layering crap tons of buildings around it is really effective because you can hold people in choke points when they're trying to rush forward. If they're trying to go for a landmark snipe or a wonder like a wonder snipe, whatever it may be, that relies on melee units. And if you just sit in choke points on the way, it blocks them off. It stops them from being able to engage you in full mass, and it blocks their route towards whatever their target is. Now, Avali back on the defensive. Folks, after all this, look at Avali's reserves. He's under 1,000 gold reserve. Wow. And he's going to stack up more. Into the pass guard, into the Chicken Nu once more. They're both drained now. The gold is all gone. I don't see a single gold vein remaining. Now, this can be an advantage for Avali because he can at least get into taxation, and there's going to be plenty to gather up with the Imperial officials. But Artie hasn't made a transition in a trade. And now doing that transition is going to be difficult because the price of admission does involve gold. And what does this all mean? What's the most important detail here? Well, we can already see hand cannons in the field, but that's not the most important detail. It's the siege. Every single piece of siege, it's not made of wood anymore. It's made of pure gold. That's how it feels anyway. Villagers repairing the primary TC fight underway. And those pass guard, they're buying so much time, enough time in fact, that the horsemen are all going to flop dead. Trebuchet's caught completely out of position. This hand cannoneer battalion is going to get eviscerated by this quantity of Chicken Nu. these Trebs are not going to do much either. Bombard's going to chase him away. Hand Cannon is trying to retreat, but remember, he's got the increase in movement speed. He's got the Yuan Dynasty. So his Chugenu and his Hand Cannoneers are able to gap close. This is the worst case scenario. The moment Donati has to retreat, he's going to lose a lot of troops. That's why he can only trade out. It's the best thing he can do. Cover the retreat, get the trebuchets out safely because you can't afford more. RT once again trying to renew the assault. Pepper and Arrows is going to come his way for his trouble. And he beelines straight onto the Bombard. Bombard, can it be repaired? Villagers shuffling across, but not quick enough. High price though. Artie costs him all the horsemen. Hand Cannoneer is about to be depleted as well. I mean, even without Siege, Avali can still do some serious damage now. There's outpost scroll coming out from Artie. He really is clenching. He's really grabbing at straws at this stage, trying to hold on. Both of them now suffering the gold. Let's see what Avali is doing with his Imperial officials. Tax all day and all night. Tax, what are you doing right now? I'm just taking my allotted break. No breaks. We haven't got the funding to be able to back research efforts anymore, okay? We simply cannot find the cure to all the diseases. Go tax some people. But sire, they have nothing to give. They have plenty to give. You just need to look under their tables, look under their floorboards, find the secret gold. Everyone has secret gold. Look right here, 285 in this granary. The archery rangers each having about 40 as well. Like, this is so much you could be grabbing. In fact, here's an idea, Avali. You only have 2 Imperial officials. I definitely think it's worth investing in more here. Trebs. Time for some trebification. Slows down. While Artie tries to speed up the Culverin. Culverin that could easily be picked apart if caught out of position. No matter how much range resistance you have, still going to be 3 damage per shot at the Chuginu. I don't actually know how Avali still has this wood line. It's keeping him alive in a lot of ways, though. It's basically half of his wood income at this stage. And here he goes in the dive. Cannon could be big here. Chasing Palsguard, need to snipe this out. Splash damage could do a lot of work in these fights. Trebs will be able to fix that. And RT doesn't really have much stone right now, so you can't afford to keep upgrading cannons like this. Once again, a heavily limited resource in this game. Avali, although his eco is so much smaller than Artie's, he's somehow stayed ahead in almost every resource for several minutes now. Building up surplus, having great income. And it's because he has good trades. Like, if you look at the income in the food department, it's clear who the winner is. If I blanked everything else in this game, you'd assume Artie's winning. You'd be wrong because the Chuginu, they counter out everything he's doing. Horsemen and Camel Archers, both units have low missile resistance. And especially those Camel Archers are basically taking pure damage from the Chuginu. Here we go. Engagement. Chase in. Spearman in the mixer as well, which will take bonus damage from the Camel Archers. But you can see that Avali is trying to budget his gold and hold on for longer. Wrap around as the Horsemen chase in on the back line, and STB is being targeted out here. Barely any Horsemen in the mixer, though. Camel Archers trying to follow through, but they just can't. It takes too long. The trades are bad. RT's in trouble as the Trebs move forward. At the end of this, his army's going to be wiped again, and again, and again, and again. I'm not Hanzo from Overwatch, but it feels like it when I'm saying it that many times. Double military right now. Even with less health, it just doesn't feel that way. These trades don't feel good. How bonky the Camel Archers are. This is how bonkers the Chuginu are with the discount just being so low in cost. Remember, each of these Camel Archers is 240 resources. Avali's paying 25% of that. Hand Cannon is more premium, but most of this composition is Chuginu. And also Spearman just to keep it cheap as well. More villagers going down. RT, he was trying to get rid of the trebuchets. No dice. Push forward further. Chicken Noob actually baiting the fight before Artie's ready in mass. A bad fight for him to be drawn into by the auto aggro there. It cost him more troops. The push continues. Neither player at PopCap. And Artie down to 19 military. Meanwhile, Avali up at 81. And starting to gain some momentum here. Into the military district. Start setting fire to everything. And here's what I was talking about with the Chicken Noob. Look at the damage they're doing right there. It definitely adds up. And now the keep. The keep in his military lines. Uh-oh. Artie needs to wait. If Artie goes too soon, he's going to lose the force again. Yeah, he's too impatient right now. He needs to get up to about 40 to 50 military, but he's not willing to do so because he's going to forfeit probably 6, 7 different racks just to get there. That's why he pushes right now. New backing up. Still find hand cannoneers in here as well. The horseman gone. The bonus damage removed. It's all the camel archers again, and it's quite the burden for them to carry. Nice snipe there. Big job. Avali. He tried for the greedy keep. Artie was waiting. Out of fog, out of mind. The double trebuchet able to deny and pull the stone away from Avali. Artie starting to push back now. Avali keeping the dream alive, but he has slowed down his push to Chicken Noob. He needs to renew the lines. Starting to fall apart. And the trebuchet's going down is a big deal here. Artie is willing to commit. Will lose a lot of the camels due to the bombards at the backside, though. Spearman also starting to distract him now. Camel's line is starting to break again. And I actually think the bombards alone are making this a good trade again, even with the numbers just quickly shrinking for Avali. It's buying enough time, and now look, he tries to go for the trebs. He's baiting himself, though. He just needs to focus on the camels. The camels are going to target you out otherwise. There it is. That's the problem. The bombards, the immediate pull of the villagers. Run! Run, you fools! The Palace Guard. They're going to make Artie look like a fool here, pulling 15 villagers. Villagers that will never get this kill due to all the repairs coming out from Avali's own villagers. And this chase is futile. The torch damage is not good enough. The Chicken Noob are going to rip him apart. NiKo. Still stable at the moment for Artie. But it is going to lead to idle time. It's going to lead to the need to rebuild. Need that is going to be exploited because it looks like Avali did sneak racks out to the side. And the Palace Guard, although there's a hard pull of villagers, a few Palace Guard here could actually do a lot of damage to a villager count. That's why Artie also sends over the Camel Archers to help. Even with that in mind, though, like, I think most of these villagers are going to die, if not all. You are up against two-legged cavalry here. It's my nickname for them because once you get Yuan Dynasty, they almost move as fast as heavy cavalry. Meanwhile, in the center, Artie once again pushing in. Is this fight ever going to go one decisive way? You have to wonder. And I'm not sure it's going to end anytime soon. Like, wood reserves are still plentiful. Gold is the problem. But both of them can stabilize that and rely more heavily on wood to keep them alive. And of course, food is eternal. It never runs out in this game. We ain't AoE 2. We don't do that to people. Things will calm down for the moment. Avali, he's starting to try to rebuild that villager line more. Like, you know, he feels like he's not got a strong enough eco to keep up this long term. He needs to try and exploit the limited resources. And he wants a new keep. There's a lot of stones still waiting here because Artie, I don't know, I feel like he had that bad experience with the keeps at the beginning. When he lost them in his opponent's base, it's almost like the equivalent of touching an iron and burning it. Like having a bad experience with something. Like, I'm not going to do that again. You know, like when you eat hummus for the first time, but it's really badly made hummus, you're like, that's terrible. And you just don't try it again. You never realize that hummus is actually secretly a creation of God. A magnificent creation of that. Oh. This sneaking, he doesn't, like, he's not optimizing his targets right now, but admittedly, the Chicken Noob shoots so fast, it doesn't matter. Heavy damage being done here. And that's a problem because Artie's out of wood. And that is most of his wood line. In fact, if we look, that was all of his wood line. Uh-oh. He's still got the reserves at the back, but he's not there right now. And if he loses the Camel Archers, he can't afford to replace them. This move might have bought the appropriate time for Avali to build up the full defense force. He might have slowed down Artie enough that he thinks twice about diving in. Chicken will peel back for the moment. Keep going up in this corner. I like this move by Avali. He's just trying to make sure that Artie can't go trade. He's aware that this game has reached that point. You are up against an Abbasid player, and it is one of the civs that can easily pivot into trade and find big benefits of it. So we'll just block him out in this area with a keep, and instead set himself up for the trade. Okay. I like this. This is pretty crafty. And he's got the trade back here, right? So he'll build them out here. He'll set the home trade post over here, and then trade with the neutral. And that means it will half the distance to return the investment. The first drop-off will occur in half the time. And look at this move by Artie. He moves into the area. He's like, not on my watch. Avali forced to garrison inside, gets caught. Trying to be a greedy boy. This will take a while to burn down. The good news, at least, if you are Artie, is Avali seems to have whoopsie-daisied and never got his hands on boiling oil. But he's not willing to commit. Not enough horsemen here to torch this down. And look at this. Look how the battlefield is switching now onto the eastern front. Because this is now the battle of trade. The walls that went up on the western side block Artie out from going for it. And if he does, it's going to be obvious when he torches the walls down. So the best thing he can do is try to block out Avali from getting that potential. However, we've seen how these fights go, and they are very Avali favored, rather, when they're on equal numbers. You're not even on equal numbers right now. Like, Artie, military pop cap, Avali's ahead of you. And you're also fighting around this keep that you're not even targeting. This village in the battalion. They're on a long journey, folks. A very long journey. He never killed the racks at the back? Wait, no, one villager snuck round. It's the same villager that built this racks. Oh my god, this is so annoying. This is actually so tilting right now for Artie. He has to fight the main fight. He can't be splintered, so he can't even engage with it. And it means his eco is being chipped away at while he's losing the main battlefield. Oh. That is so one-sided. Looks like Avali's about to reach into Artie's production lines in the Camel Archer range. Make sure he can't just keep the numbers up. Also look to shrink those numbers. Pass guard in. Chugenu in. Camel Archer is starting to go out of fashion. And Artie feels kind of stuck. Can't make a transition, can't find a way out of this. Now maybe composite bows, but even then, like the Chugenu, with the increased movement speed, they'll be able to gap close upon you, so that probably doesn't work either. As to be said, that the Camel Archers, they struggle a lot against this. Chugenu have slightly less range than the Archers at 4.5, but as you can see, the Camel Archers have a pathetic 3.75 tile range. They can't fight from out of the range of Chugenu. They're always going to be targeted by this. Hard push in the meantime. Artie amasses his forces. Avali trying to bring more troops to the front line. Horsemen are becoming a little bit of a problem. But so these backstabbing Palace Guard. I mean, Artie, like, look at the wood right now. I think he's running out a bit too fast here. He's barely able to keep up with demand. Able to access the east side. And so far, it looks like the good news for him, at least, is that Avali hasn't begun trade just yet. But you know it's coming soon. If you lose a fight here, if you give over the ground at all, if you allow Avali to station himself, to embed himself in this area, it's going to be infinite gold. And infinite gold against late game Chinese it's not a pretty picture. Artie's slowing down. He needs to keep pushing. He's winning a big fight here, but he needs to keep committing. If he slows down and splits up his forces, he offers recovery points for Avali. Wait, is that... Avali, it's too late. Go to sleep, buddy. It's too late. It's too late. Go to sleep. When you build a siege tower, you only BM when you're winning. Say it after me, Avali. You only BM when you're... Okay, maybe that's like... No, you BM when you think you can win. I don't think you can win like this. We'll retreat away onto the walls. Those pesky Chinese players, whenever they lose, they just go back on their walls and it's all good. Apparently, the Siege Tower is a hotkey issue with German keyboards. Just buy an English keyboard. There you go. Solve your problem. That's such an ignorant Brit answer to a problem. Uh-oh. This may have been the wrong time to start trading, sir. Needs more archery ranges. Needs more Chignu. Well, the good news is that Artie doesn't have a way of sieging in. The bad news is he doesn't need to siege in because there's a route. The good news, though, is you do have a keep on the way. The bad news is you're losing a lot of rack. I have a lot of news today, don't I? These pals got, like, they need to move in. Go deeper, go deeper. I love this move. But you need to keep shrinking him because you know Artie keeps rebuilding. I can't believe that this has been this was his starting base and it's existed like this for most of the game. Oh, this game is incredible. And there we go. Why need to go past wall if wall not protect whole base? Good question. Oh, God, these are bastard guys, when they die, they're so over-dramatic. Genuinely, like, I don't know, it just sounds like a death fap to me. Don't ask for more details on that. Let's focus on the fact that Avli is at least still got wood going, and it looks like Artie has not chosen to check it out. Instead, he dives into the base. Defense was building up, but notice that there's a lack of accessible racks to use now for Avli. He's heavily undercapped now. Military count is finally in favor of Artie, and he's going in for the jugular. Imperial Academy targeted out. Heavy damage coming in. Will be able to torch down. It's going to force a fight here. Chuge new line is not big right now. And that's a problem, because you're going to get shredded. Front line doesn't last long enough. After that, the horsemen just flood through. The good news is, at least by getting rid of the horsemen, he doesn't have a way of quick sieging your buildings. But the problem is how are you rebuilding your army if he just keeps diving your base and picking off reinforcements. I think we've reached the end of the line for Avli. I don't see a way back in anymore. Like, at least Artie's not trading, but neither are you, and you're out of gold. And you've taxed yourself right up the wazoo. Like, you've only got one Imperial official even trying to grab attacks. Yeah, I think this is it, folks. This was a brain scramble of a game, if I've ever seen one. So many twists, so many turns, a back and forth affair. I'll give them credit for that. But definitely feels like a game that they played at the end of the night when they should have just went to sleep. And then after this, even with Artie winning, I reckon he wishes he'd gone to sleep. Because I don't think when he started this game, I don't think when he started to build outposts in this game, he expected the clock to move up towards an hour and 25 minutes to get a win. But you know what? It's worse for Avli, because after an hour and a 25-minute game, he gets a loss. And although he'll have a few chuckle time moments to himself, he'll probably look back and think, what are the moments? Could I have grasped this? Did I snatch defeat from the jaws of victory? Ifs, buts, and maybes. I don't care about that. I care that the win has come out. And the victor is Artie.